So this is my first attempt at a kind of quick video log, just telling you what's going on with me right now. I had vertical sleeve gastrectomy done back May 9th of this year, 2014. Since then I've lost about, I want to say, close to 60 pounds in almost 3 months since the surgery, which is quite phenomenal, but there are times when I still get frustrated with this. Mostly because of the stalls that keep happening. And I know that they fully warned me that there's going to be stalls, that they're going to happen, and it's still aggravating to have happen. I'm at 304 pounds currently right now. My first goal is to get down to 300, and it just seems like I'm stuck. I just want to get down to 300, I'll stop freaking out as much. But 300 is the first goal I really want to get to. I haven't been 300 in probably 10 years. I remember when I first started the process to have the surgery done, I was close to 400 pounds, and when I actually went in to get weighed at the bariatric center at Hammett, I was 400.5 pounds. So I've done quite well. That was November of 2013 when I first started on the dieting leading up to my surgery. So I've done quite well. I've lost almost 100 pounds in about 10 months, 9-10 months give or take. So that's something to be really proud of, but it's just still a daily struggle. They always say this thing is a journey. I hate it when people say that. Really, to tell you the truth, this is more of just a mind screw constantly. It's the most mental thing I've ever gone through. I've been crippled, so to speak, for the past 6 years. I've used a cane to walk because it was too much pain for my hip to move, and I have extremely bad fibromyalgia to boot. On top of that, now these have improved. I'm actually walking around now without my cane for the first time in 6 years, so that is something to be quite proud of. And my fibro symptoms have gone down, but they're still lasting damage to my joints. And the mental thing I mentioned before is the biggest problem I'm up against. It's still hard to mentally adjust what I've done to myself. I've had 85% of my stomach removed, and my brain still doesn't quite comprehend that. Like when I'm going to get something to eat, I have these small little plates, and I will put food on it, and I will always put too much, because my stomach says there's no way you're going to eat all this, and my brain says that's not enough food, add more. I guess I had close to 33 years of eating wrong constantly, which got me up to naturally the 400 pounds from which I started, but it's definitely a mental game. I thought I was ready for this, and I really wasn't. People asked me at first, like, would I recommend the surgery to them, and I say not at all at first. Seeing how I'm close to 3 months out, I'm getting close to recommending it to people now, finally, because I've finally started to adjust to it. I'm back to eating normal foods. I'm able to exercise for the first time in a long time. My friend loaned me his treadmill so I can walk, which is really nice because I live in a really crappy part of town. If you don't go outside without a gun at night, you do run the risk of getting mugged. So it's been kind of interesting, because I'm slowly starting to relearn my body again, but it's the biggest mental thing, is the biggest thing that you're ever going to face if you decide to have this yourself. If you're overweight and you qualify for weight loss surgery, it is going to be a kick in the ass, because you're going to think you're ready for it, and you're just not going to be. Not until you go through this. You are going to have your what the hell did I do to myself moment. It happens for everybody, and you're going to be told this, and you're going to expect it yourself. For me, that moment was the day after my surgery, the immediate day after, while I was recovering in the hospital, and they wanted me to start drinking water, these small, tiny little 1-ounce cups of water. They wanted me to drink at least one every 15 minutes, and my stomach was so swollen it shut almost. I couldn't keep anything down. Any small amount of liquid that I tried to swallow would instantly be thrown up, or dry heaving, which is not the best thing to do when you've had 7 incisions. In my case, actually, they did 9 incisions. Not the best thing to be throwing up when you have those fresh incisions. So my what the hell did I do moment came quite soon for me. Sometimes it hit people I've heard a little bit later, but for me it was hard. Because not only do you have this what the hell have I done to myself moment, you realize that, especially with vertical sleeve gastrectomy, that it is non-reversible. Your stomach is gone. I actually have a picture my surgeon gave me of my stomach cut out and laying there in the inside, just completely separated out, so it's like, it's definite proof. It's gone. It's removed out. Eating has been tricky, like as I mentioned earlier, with the different, getting used to the smaller portion sizes. I eat probably about 1/4 of a cup to 1/3 of a cup per meal. Today's been actually kind of bad. I've been really, really hungry for the first time in 3 months since the operation. That I've been really, really hungry, and I've just been kind of eating all day long, which is really unusual. Because when you have this, it's kind of funny because I like food a lot, which is, that's a no duh thing. I was fat and I still am currently at this moment, but I love food. I think about it non-stop. That was the one thing that I found really kind of funny when I came back home from the hospital, as I was sitting on the couch and watching PBS because I had nothing else to do. I don't have cable, so everything I watch I usually download off the internet, or stream it through like Hulu, YouTube, whatever. And I'm watching this PBS station, and they have nothing but cooking shows on, and I'm sitting there watching it and just drooling, going, oh man, I want this, I want that, I miss food because I've been on a liquid diet and pureed and all this other crap. And I'm thinking about how much I like food, but then I realize that it's like I've been sitting on the couch all day long. It's 10 o'clock at night, and I hadn't eaten in like 12 hours. So while my brain is thinking about food nonstop, my body just wasn't hungry whatsoever. And I find that amusing. I still have that happen sometimes. So yesterday I was working, and I was thinking about food again, talking about the coworkers, of course, because we have nothing better to do other than our actual work. And I realized that I hadn't eaten in like 12 hours, which is not a good thing because you need to make sure you keep your protein levels up. But I mean, it's kind of like having, when you have this, your stomach removed like this, it really does cut down the level of hunger that you experience. Finally have gotten used to eating slowly, smaller bites, chewing them very thoroughly, making sure they're all mashed up quite well, and getting to the point where I recognize how much I should be eating, and then stopping so that way I don't get sick. Because that was the longest, hardest thing I had to go through these first 3 months. Heard me. Not only that horrible side effect of burping constantly, which no one really warned me about. I eat or drink and I belch for like at least a good hour. It's quite embarrassing, but it's gotten better as the time has gone forward. So eventually, hopefully, it will go away or reduce itself down. But so when I used to eat, when I had my full stomach, and I would just eat like crazy, just eat whatever I wanted. You know, if I ordered a Papa John's pizza, if I wanted to, in under an hour, I could kill that entire thing. I've seen me do it before, so I know it was entirely possible. So after the, you know, when I would do something like that, when I'd eat that insane amount of food, and I would finally feel full, and that's the problem I always had, is that I was always hungry before the surgery. I rarely ever felt full unless I completely stuffed myself. So after the surgery, it was really weird trying to figure out where my full limit was, because I'd take a bite and I'd wait probably about 2 to 3 minutes just to see if it would hit down to my stomach and how it would go from there, and I'd feel okay, so that I'd take another bite and I'd wait about 15 seconds, and it hit me just pure agonizing nausea, like I had the flu. It was horrendous. That took the longest time to get over, because I mean, I was concerned that I was going to have this every single time I ate. I'm thinking, oh my god, what have I done to myself again for the billionth time? But like, am I going to feel sick? Is this going to be the new normal? This feeling of like I'm going to puke and be sick feeling for like an hour after every single time I eat. And thankfully that's gone away. Now I've finally got that ability to feel full and stop. And if I do take that one little extra bite, I do feel sick. I get the cramps. They say that you don't get dumping syndrome with the vertical sleeve. You kind of do. Some people do, some people don't. I am one of those people who do get that dumping syndrome. It's like I end up on the floor just about, stomach's cramping, I start sweating. It's just absolutely god-awful. Read up about dumping syndrome for bypass patients, and you'll understand what I go through. The other adjustment that it's taken me a while is the loose skin aspect. I've known that this is going to happen, and it is happening to me, actually. I mean, like I said, I mentioned I've dropped 96 pounds to date in 3 months, under 3 months. From the surgery to now has been the biggest weight loss there. I did lose about 30 pounds pre-surgery, but after surgery is where it's mostly coming from here. The skin started up a little before, but now it's just getting really, really bad. I can definitely see probably 2 to 3 years down the line so having to have skin removed, and it's quite interesting. I mean, like I said, it was going to happen. This is things that they prepare you for, and I know what's going to happen. But when it starts actually happening, that's when it finally became real for me. And I have sagging underneath my arms. I don't know how it's going to show up here, but you have this down here, and I'm grabbing up to right where my muscle starts, which is right here. So everything else here is pretty much skin and loose skin here at the moment. I can flap that around on a good day. Do both arms, I could probably start flying. I've kind of joked there about hanging out the window of a moving car and just being able to like flying a squirrel, which would be awesome, but no, that doesn't happen. So I plan to lose about another 80 pounds. So it's going to be tough. I am starting to work out again finally, as I mentioned, the walking. I've also been starting to lift weights again for the first time in 6.5, almost 7 years for that. Because I stopped weightlifting when I started to get my thyroid problems were developing, and then when I became pretty much disabled around 2008, it was pretty bad for me then. I wasn't working out at all. But I'm starting to lift weights again very slowly, being very careful. Just trying to see if I can get maybe some of the strength back, and also to fill in where this loose skin is happening here, and just try to tone up a little bit if that's going to be at all possible, or if my skin's just completely shot. I don't know. But it really takes a toll kind of on your self-image, because I do want to get back out and start dating again, and this is kind of the biggest hurdle for me overall. It's not the talking about this because I'm doing this video, of course, that's not going to be the problem about it. I tell random strangers, and they ask me different questions, like, hey, why are you doing this, or buying so little food, especially at Walmart, because they remember you there sometimes, and it's like, I've had weight loss surgery. I don't have a problem telling that. Some people have a problem telling others that they've had something like this done. Sometimes people feel guilty about it. I actually know a person who actually feels really embarrassed at the fact that they had weight loss surgery, and for me, I think it's a good thing. It's turning around my life. I've kind of complained a little about the hardships of going to it, but overall, how I feel now and what it's doing for me, it's a big plus. So, the self-conscious thing in the image there, it is a little bit hard to deal with, and it's something that I take day by day. So I would like, as I mentioned, get out there, start dating again, and be fun. But I do kind of worry about what the other person's going to think of my body types. I'm sagging everywhere, especially my legs too, so you gotta wonder if the other person's going to be cool with that or not. Hopefully if you find a person like that, you're supposed to be, you're supposed to find the person who's okay with who you are, but people are superficial, so I've come across that too. I am getting better day by day. This is something I am getting close to, like telling people to recommend to have it done if you're on the fence about it.